What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Let's Play Super Earth Defense Force, the finale to this LP. We are picking up right at the beginning of Stage 4. Well, this is a little bit of a tricky section. There's a small little sweet spot there that I don't understand quite how it works. Usually when enemies fly in from off screen, they can still damage you, but it appears when those tiny ships come in from the left side of the screen, for just that one specific section, they don't seem to damage you. So there's a bit of a sweet spot on the left side of the screen towards between the middle and the top. So things are going to start getting much trickier here, but that's going to be partially mitigated by me having homing for my weapon. Homing is just kind of generally great. It's one of the most useful weapons of the game. I think I have another minefield coming up here, so hold on. I'll talk about that after I weather this storm. This, I think, is one of the hardest parts of the whole level. Okay, I made it through the two biggest minefields in the level without taking damage, so that bodes well for the rest of this level. Also, look how fucking amazing the backgrounds for this game are. It blows me away whenever I play this how good this looked for a SNES game and some of the background effects they had going. And aside from a few stages, the soundtrack is top-notch too. Like, I don't necessarily like the way this stage's soundtrack starts, but once it settles into its melody, it's so good. This is such a hidden gem of the Super NES. And what's even worse is Jaleco, it doesn't look like they're making games anymore. I don't think anyone has heard from them in years. The last I think anyone heard from them is when they were bought by, what was it, Game Yarrow or something? Oh, gotta be careful with them. Should be like one more of those. Oh, I was gonna talk about homing. Homing is... There is so much utility in this weapon. It's ridiculous. Easily one of the best weapons in the entire game. Just because it cuts what you have to focus on in half, kinda. You don't have to really walk the tightrope of focusing on yourself, you know, dodging attacks and bullets and stuff, and focusing on lining yourself up to do damage. Oh, I thought I took a hit there. Yeah, you don't have to focus on dodging and lining yourself up to attack at the same time. You don't have to split your focus both ways there. You just hold fire down with homing and you wreck everything without having to pay attention to it. You can just kind of tunnel vision in on yourself and only have to pay attention to what you're doing, which is incredibly, incredibly handy. Okay, so... Oh, you know what? I just realized there is... Oh, again, it's so cool! This off-screen laser that's about to completely cut away this section of what looks like a floating colony. Like it taking a scalpel to it. It's so cool. Oh, man, I love this game. So, something I neglected to mention... Oh, damn it. Okay. This phase so far should be pretty simple. Something I neglected to mention last time, you also have these orbs or satellites that are currently homed in on the boss. Those orbs or satellites are responsible for firing your special weapon, and the ship itself... Hold on. Oh my god, I can't believe I made it through that without taking damage. That's usually the hardest part of the fight for me. You yourself shoot this rapid-fire stream of projectiles. As you level up, your orbs get different formations. Like, the first formation you get for those orbs, they just kind of float around. Oh! Hold on! Oh, it's happening! I almost never get a perfect boss fight here. It's happening! So the orbs, the first formation you get for them is... Oh no! I misjudged it. The first formation you get for them, now that I've screwed this up, is the one where they just kind of orbit around you. They start off attached to you until you hit until you level up your weapons. And then eventually, I think it's when you hit level 5, you get that formation where they can home in on enemies theirself, which kind of negates the need for homing, or at least a lot of the utility of homing, because if the orbs themselves, as you're going to see right now, can fire things like, say, homing grenades, it's pretty valuable. It's worth doing as much damage as you can early on, clearing out as many enemies as possible in the early stages, just so you can hit level 5 as quickly as possible for the later levels. You're going to be seeing this formation pretty much from now until the end of the game, which is only this stage and the next stage. And compared to stage 4, this stage is not particularly difficult. There is one tricky section that is not this one, where I might wind up taking a hit, but aside from that, actually no, the boss too. The boss, there's something I have to be careful about with the boss, and I'll talk about that more when I actually get there. The other thing that makes this a little bit trickier compared to some other shmups, it's not necessarily, ooh, I thought I got hit, I was looking at my orb. That makes it a little bit more tricky than other shmups. It's not necessarily raw difficulty, but it feels like your ship in this game is much bigger than your run-of-the-mill shmup, which also means you have a bigger hitbox. So you fill more of the screen up, so it seems that way anyway. It's always felt like that to me. Okay, this, it's a little bit trickier than I thought it was going to be. This is the section that kind of worries me a little bit, because of that. As soon as they line up with you when they come in from off screen, they kind of shoot forward, and sometimes I don't always see them. Hey, a mini-boss that's going to die in like 5 seconds. We haven't seen that in a little bit. Oop, gotta be careful. His after attack doesn't hit. Okay, yeah, that's fine. And again, with the coolest effects in the background, you're coming in on this planet, this cityscape in the background, you see it all lit up. It's so cool. I can't... This asteroid section... Ooh, wait a minute. I was just about to say it's easier than the first asteroid section, but... It's a little bit to worry about there. Okay, so compared to the first time we see these enemies, these are the ones that home in on you as soon as they line up with you. These ones do it from below, the other ones did it horizontally, those ones do it vertically. It's a lot easier to deal with them because they don't come in from off screen with as much chaos going on when they finally enter the screen. I think we're coming up. No, I completely forgot about this section. This section's a pain in the ass. Whenever you see those glimmers of light start to float around, they kind of look like fireflies. Those are where the little yellow gelatinous cube-looking things, that's where they spawn. That's what I always get hit by. Oh, shit. I always forget that the boss kind of does that little lunge towards you at the very beginning of the fight. I don't think he ever does it again. I always forget that happens. Aside from that, this is a dead easy fight. Yeah, that's it. There's not even a phase 2 there. It's just, he takes this little sucker punch at you, and then repeats the same pattern of 2 attacks throughout the rest of the fight. Son of a bitch, I can't believe I fell for that. Okay. So that's stage 4 and 5 out of the way. We are now moving on to stage 6. And I really hope my internet is back up by the time I'm done recording this, because I would really like to actually have this episode fucking uploaded tonight. I hate Comcast. I really, really hate having to deal with them. You don't have service. It might take a while for it to return, or it might take a while longer than that. Like, I want to snap the phone in half every time I call them. Or, oh, no. Another good one. We're experiencing higher than normal call volume. I've never called Comcast and not heard that. At what point does it stop being higher than normal and just become normal? And one of my absolute favorites is when you dial in and you indicate that you do not have internet service, that your service is not working correctly. And you hear an automated voice and it goes, your service appears to be experiencing a disruption or something to that effect. You don't have internet right now. Please go to our website for more support. That's the one that makes me so angry that I just want to explode into a fireball that sets the whole fucking world on fire. I want to get on the phone one day and just start quoting that really fantastic Penny Arcade monologue Tycho gives when he's talking to Gabe about Warhammer. And then, as tears of bubbling pitch stream down my face, my dark work will begin. I will open one of my 6 mouths and I will sing the song that ends the earth. And I'm just going off on tangents right now because Stage 6 is not going to be interesting at all until we hit the boss, except for one little tricky section at the very end of this corridor. The only interesting thing to note about level 6, actually, or Stage 6, is that it's the only stage in the game that features actual stage hazards. Like, if I touch the ceiling or the floor right now, I'll just take damage. Same as the very beginning of the stage, that little corridor we went through. And then that will happen one more time at the end of the level, or towards the end of it, right before the final boss. The other nice thing about these satellites, I don't know if I mentioned it, but they can also absorb fire for you. This is tricky. Time it right and don't run into the wall. Yeah, that's the only tricky part of the stage until, let's see, about like 10 seconds from now when we get to the boss. Actually, the boss itself is not that bad. At least not this form of the boss. Okay. So this is all the boss is going to do. You see that little pink glowing one in the corner that just homed in on me? He'll fire those out either the top left or the bottom left corner. And then after a short period of time, it will track you and home in on you. Oh, that was a close one. Okay, cool. That's out of the way. It's a little bit tricky. Oh no, the last one as the boss was dying. I didn't think the projectile was gonna hurt me. Luckily, once you hit weapon level 5, not the final boss, by the way. It's not even my final form. Once you... This boss is a lot trickier. This is the best fight in the game. One of my favorites, anyway. It's this and the Stage 4 boss. One or the other. Once you get to weapon level 5, every subsequent time you fill that bar up, you get an extra shield. And right now I'm at 5. You can get over 5, but you won't get a display for that on screen. It's just, if you stock up, say, 6 or 7 shields, then you won't see those represented on screen as a green bar. But whenever you take a hit, it just won't subtract from what you see on screen until you are at or under 5. Okay, that's finally stage 2 of this boss. In his second form, I don't think he gains any new attacks. What he does start doing, though, is he becomes much more aggressive and he starts using more and more attacks simultaneously. Oh. Okay. Sorry if I go a bit silent here. This one, there's a lot to dodge. This is probably, I say this and the Stage 4 boss are probably my favorites because they're the most bullet hell bosses pretty much in the game. They just kind of fill the screen with all sorts of projectiles and make you thread the needle. And I love the additional element of chaos that black electrical orb brings to the fight that just kind of circles the screen. Did I have a perfect fight there? Holy shit! I can't believe that. No, wait a minute. I had to have taken damage, right? Like, I have to be... I think it's just that I was over 5 shields and I probably took a hit. I refuse to believe that I had a perfect fight while commentating. I have a hard time getting that fight perfect when I can just devote 100% of my attention to it. Say goodbye to the stage hazards. Also, say hello to our good friend, Intergalactic Space Turtle final boss. Also, I'm glad I've stocked up so much extra health for this fight, because I'm gonna take so much damage. I've never done this part of the fight perfectly. I will live, it's just I won't live gracefully. Shit. So he shoots eyeballs, brains, and goo, and then dies in like the most anticlimactic way ever. And then he just shows up out of nowhere like Necron in FF9. It's fine though, we built a turtle fence. But we don't have many turtles. Well, in Space Michigan, we have quite a few. And that's it. Maybe we're the bad guys here. Maybe we're trying to invade the intergalactic space turtle's domain and steal its DNA to learn the secrets of immortality. What an awesome premise that would be for a sci-fi story. People have successfully spliced human DNA and turtle DNA to overcome aging and become immortals. Oh, goddamn, it would be like a cross between Street Sharks and Cocoon. So good. Here's something I really, really don't miss at all. I don't miss old school SNES era Japanese credits. Because I don't know who... I think that's SOH Fish? We all remember SOH Fish, the creator of many memorable games, such as, and, you know, those. Oh, and Panic Yuma Heart. Who could ever forget Panic Yuma Heart? I much prefer actually knowing who was... I don't even know what the hell that is. And BG Tadahiko. At least that appears to be a real name, as best I can tell. Old school Japanese credits are terrible, for the purpose of actually giving credit to the people who made the game. They don't do too well at the one function they're supposed to serve. Special thanks to you, the player. Does Super Earth Defense Force have one of those? No, they don't. They don't appreciate me. Jaleco, why don't you love me? I'm the only advocate of your games, I think. I might be one of the only people who fondly remembers Jaleco. Jaleco put some really awesome looking, kind of like, some awesome looking game out that only came out in Japan like years and years ago, and I can't remember the name of it right now, but it kind of had the art style of Okami, or something similar to that. And I wonder if there's like a translation guide, because if there is, I'll import that son of a bitch right now. Jaleco, please come back to us. Jaleco, the brand, is still alive. It's just... no one can get in touch with them. I don't think they've made anything since like 2009. No one's heard from them since then. It's a big mess. And of course, the crowning moment in every arcade style game, when you get to the end, you get to put your name in for your high score. I love it. It's such a fun little tradition. It's such a nice payoff. Thank you guys for watching. The next LP is going to be Mega Man X4. It's going to be another 100% like the first 3 Mega Man X's. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.